We look to design the restaurants to accommodate each and every need, and I think it's one of the things we've tried so hard to do the last 3 or 4 years, because maybe just 4 years ago, you can only really order, line up at the front counter, or go traditionally through the drive-through. That's the only 2 ways you could order at McDonald's, whereas now we've got self-order kiosks, you've got mobile order pay, you've got home delivery, as well as these kind of evolution at front counter and drive-through.
And delivery is now $3 billion business?
Yeah, so 2018, we built it to a $3 billion business. It's going to be close to a $4 billion plus by the end of 2019.
In more than half of your global stores.
We're in more than half the restaurants now. So we're actually still continuing to expand the number of restaurants that offer it. But we're now, because we've been in this for almost 2 years now, we're beginning to see the like-for-like sales of those restaurants that are 13 months and older. We're beginning to see us grow the like-for-like as well as expand the footprint as well.
I want to ask you about the economics of this kiosk.
Okay.
Because obviously it's obvious, it's immediately obvious how much more you can customize your experience.
Right.
And that all makes sense. But when you're dealing with pressures to raise wages, isn't this, I don't know, is there some liability in the optics of this?
I think people will ask that question, but if you actually look, when we visit the restaurant upstairs, for example, when this restaurant's full, effectively the ordering process is more in the customer's hands, but we're now offering table service to customers in a way that we never did before. So we'll need less people behind the front counter. That means we can put more people in front of the front counter, actually interacting with customers in a much more meaningful way, actually. So I think it's a different jobs, but customers prefer to order, many customers prefer to order through the self-order kiosk just because they can just take their time.
And do you think this is, the appeal of this is generational, meaning young people are used to not talking human to human, but whereas an older customer might have trouble seeing, or?
A little bit. Yeah. So, I mean, we learn everything from font size to layouts, and we have our guest experience leaders, as we call them now, which are kind of front of house hospitality staff. They're always prepared to be here to help guide people through who are a little more nervous. But some others will walk straight up, and it's so instinctive. I mean, that's how you operate at hotels these days, at airports these days, and many other places. So we're no different in young people's lives, really, than many of the other businesses they interact with.
You're right. When's the last time we checked into a flight by going up to you go right to the kiosk?
But when the airlines transitioned, everyone was, hey, hold on a minute, why are you doing that? I like to stand there and queue up. But now people just get used to it now. It's instinctive.
Plus, I have to imagine, one last thing on this. I mean, burgers, just the ways you can have fries with salt, without salt. I mean, all that data you have, right? And you can manage that in a way maybe you couldn't before.
Absolutely right. So you can see how customers behave, and then ultimately let's take it to the next level, which we're not at yet, which is the personalization. So at the moment, customers come up and we don't know who he or she is. But ultimately, as time moves on, we'll be able to make a more personalized connection to customers. Maybe you come up and you can scan your phone, and you may have already saved that favorites where you like a salt with no sodium, or you like Big Mac but no pickles. So, that is, I think, where we can take this to the next level, which is to take just a smoother, easier experience into a more personalized, smoother, easier experience. And that's part of the technology infrastructure we're building. We've over the last 3 or 4 years with the global mobile app, with the self-order kiosk, with mobile order pay, we invested a lot of money to put an infrastructure in place and like an ecosystem in place. But now we're beginning to link it together with things like the acquisition of dynamic yield, for example, and one or two of the other, if you like, CRM, they call it, customer relationship management, that ability to personalize the experience for those that opt in and those that choose to have it that way.
So if I'm willing to identify myself to you, next time I can just say, in the future, give me my lunch, the thing I always get for lunch.
It could be voice activated, you may just scan a phone, or I'm not sure we go down the facial recognition, but technology is evolving so much, and customers are getting, or consumers in general, are getting more and more familiar and comfortable with it. But it will always be opt-in. We're never going to invade anyone's privacy. But yes, that idea of being able to save your favorites or call up your last 3 orders, so it just makes that order, you just hit, pay, go. I mean, it just makes that experience so much more convenient, so much more easier. And it means we get the accuracy, right? The customer doesn't have to dwell too long going through. I mean, this is part of the evolution of life generally. It's like what used to be fairly straightforward now appears slightly complex. The advent of Amazon or the advent of Uber has redefined convenience to consumers, and therefore we have to respond to that and make sure we can keep redefining convenience in McDonald's style to our customers.